You know, that builds the essential familiarity from which trust is bred. And when you have that trust, they are going to be much more willing to buy from you.
How does someone generate leads from LinkedIn?
Yeah, obviously it depends what they're trying to sell and kind of on what level as well. But the reality is that 80% of all business-to-business leads are on LinkedIn. Basically, anyone you're ever going to do business with is there. And so let me put it this way, the 2019 way to do it is to make sure that you are building value. And there's an awful term called a value debt, which is where you give someone so much value they feel they owe you something in return. And what they owe you is engagement. So they bother to show up for your content, things like that. But when someone's showing sufficient interest, you will get what's known as the queue. And the queue is usually a compliment, like, that's been really helpful. It's really made a big difference. Thank you so much for this. And that's the point where you can say, right, well, now let's convert. And so for someone like you as a consultancy, it's very simple for you at that point to say, well, let's hop on a call then. And they're always fine with doing it because they've come in your direction first. And I think that some people are very old school with LinkedIn and they'll just do the spam approach. But people are wise to that now. And it's a bit boring. It doesn't really work. It's very inefficient. So far better is to give good reasons why potential customers might spend time with you. And so when I'm putting out content, I always have as pure a signal as possible about the thing I do. So I talk a lot about sales and engagement and strategy in marketing because I'm really good at that, and that's what people pay me for. And as a result, the right people gravitate to the content, and some of them are keen enough that they then want to buy things. And it's a nice organic way of doing it. It's certainly more fulfilling than cold calling people, which I've done as well in the past, but I prefer this approach.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Absolutely love what you're saying. That's why I've been creating content. And, I always ask someone who becomes a lead, what is the first content that you consume? They'll say, I first saw your video in November or, back last year. And it takes time.
And that builds the essential familiarity from which trust is bred. And when you have that trust, they are going to be much more willing to buy from you. But also the familiarity means that if you do go on a consulting call or have a meeting or discuss potentially working together, their receptivity is really high because they feel like you're a known quantity as opposed to someone who offers a service they need but they don't know anything about.
Yeah.